Hey everybody, what's happening? It's your boy Frank here, Frank Sell. And so the next step, your next step. Really, that's why this whole channel, this podcast, if you're listening to this on the podcast, we do these on Facebook Live also, at Home of the Hustle on Facebook. And so the next step, and the reason why this whole page was created, and what it's used for. And so the next step, I know, like for me, I felt like, I see, these super successful people, whether like it's, Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, whoever it is in this success and business category or entrepreneurship and so on. And so, it's kind of like, that's a really big mountain to climb. And you only, like they say, a 10,000 mile journey starts with one step. And so that's where really I feel like we're positioned on Home of the Hustle, and it's taking our own personal experiences and sharing those stories with everybody, because I know there's a lot of people that feel the same way that I did. Like when I first started a business almost 20 years ago, I had a lot of disbelief, a lack of belief in myself. Because I always thought I had to be trained, or you always hear you have to be certified. You know what? Cash in your hand is a certification from the marketplace. That's your certification. Getting somebody that is willing to pay you money for your product or service. That's the number one rule of business that I've found. And so there's a lot of other things that are underflow there. So really what we like to do here and where we like to position ourselves is to go between the next step in believability to that ultimate success point, whatever that is for you, whether that's having a better marriage, better life, having better health, better whatever, better business, just getting started, whatever it is. That is where we come in. You're saying, hey man, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way too. I procrastinated forever. I listened to all the people out there that said, man, you're crazy. Like for me, when I started my first business, I was almost vested. I had nine and a half years in at my employer, which is some crazy stuff, because I was thinking about this the other day. By the time I was 25 years old, I already had 7 years of employment in with my employer. And so looking back on my personal history and just consistency, of who Frank Sell is, at 25 years old, I'd already had one job for 7 years. So that's pretty consistent. Even, nowadays it's even more, it's more rare that happens. People, job hop more and more. And so, what we want to bring to the table is just some of these stories. So like this Home of the Hustle, some of the things I've learned from traditional business. I started out, I thought, back then we had the yellow pages, the phone book, and I named my business, I started with the letter A. Just because in the phone book it was alphabetical, so they would see me first, proximity. But then all my signage looked really similar. So it looked like we were a lot bigger than we really were. So, it's kind of the, presence, it makes a difference on how you show up. And so nowadays, like if you're listening on the podcast, I've got a giant beard and so on. Well, that's also like it's a big presence, because like when I walk into a room somewhere, then people recognize my beard and they're like, oh, you're that bearded dude. And, and then we start having a conversation. We get down to some, some meat and bones, and you have some good conversations. And it's like I've literally walked into places of business and, repetition, go in there and knock the door 2, 3, 4 times. And, the second, third time you come back in, especially if you look like me with this giant red beard and a bald head, and people are like, hey, beard dude. So it's kind of almost like a calling card. It really helps out. And so that's some of the things, in this next step evolution of believability, where you're at. And so it's just don't make, mountains out of molehills. So, where you see these people where you want to be, because I didn't believe in the beginning that I could make $1,000 a day with my hands doing what I do. Now I'm almost disappointed if I don't. But somewhere along that path, I had to build up belief. And so that's what we're doing here, is just sharing stories. And so you say, hey man, that dude, he went out there, he bought a $100 videotape, he taught himself how to do this, he quit his job, and he just started hustling, started cold call. I didn't know it was called cold calling. I knew it, I just had to go get business. So that's where, like, you know, Home of the Hustle here, you know, everything looks pretty tight and right. You know, and so like our coffees, you know, like, you know, it looks really, I have so many people that are professionals, people that sell millions of dollars of product, and say, man, your packaging and your branding looks so good. Let me tell you a little secret, folks. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just know what I would like. And I know there has to be a bunch of people out there that feel the same way I do. I liked coffee. And so I just happened to fall into a way to make a coffee brand. I didn't overthink it. I just got shit done. I just started moving. And so unless you start moving, the view's never going to change. Hey Tia, how you doing? And so that's something that I really want to get across in so many different messages in so many different ways. Just take action. Dr. David Schwartz in his book, Magic of Thinking Big says action cures fear. So just take one step and get yourself one little win. And so going back to the next step in the branding is try to keep your message consistent, because you are the brand. You are who people want to buy from. One thing I've learned in business is business built on relationships versus profit are long-term way more profitable. I've had people come in and try to undercut me in my main business, offer twice the commissions and stuff. And the people that I work with say, man, no, go away. We do business with Frank. I had a guy last weekend that, because he'd asked around, all around town, and says, hey man, I need my car fixed up. I need some things done. And he said, everybody he talked to said, go see Frank. And when I went and saw him, I wanted to give him a deal because I know word of mouth marketing is the best there is. I said, hey man, I'll do this, you know, for $100. It won't take me very long, you know, and you're another business owner here in town, and so I know you'll you know, spread the word. Dude paid me $200 and still was way happy with it. You know, I walked into my door of my shop yesterday. I was working out of town, and I walked in to get the mail, and there was an envelope from American Family, and I was like, I don't have American Family insurance. There was almost a $3,000 check in there because a previous customer told his insurance agent he had a claim and said, I want Frank to do it. I had no idea. But I believe that God is my supply and my supply is abundant, and it's all around me. And so here, that's proof. Proof of consistent actions over time. And people do business with people. This is just a transaction of being a good dude. This is just a transaction of saying, you know what, I like coffee. I think it's pretty funny to put a get shit done sticker on there. And then the marketplace is saying, hey, you know what, that's really funny. Then they taste the coffee and they're like, holy shit, that's really good. And so it's a way for me to expand the flow, expand my message. So I like what Grant Cardone says, man. He says, if they don't know you, they can't flow you. And so this is just another way for me to get my message out. Say, oh man, that's really funny. And then they smell it and they taste it. Like, that's really good. And then they want to tell somebody else. But the little secret is, on every bag it says, beat the damn street so hard they send you a bill for the potholes. You see, because this is just another vehicle for me to get my message out that you can do it too. That you don't have to know everything, but sometimes you'll find there's people that do know. And that's another thing about this show and this page. It was simply started for a way to network. Because see, myself and Eddie and Justin and Sarah and Kim and Justin Rekla, everybody, you know what? We just realized that, you know what, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. There's places we want to go. There's that mountaintop up here. And a lot of people that are at the mountaintop, they love to share their knowledge and information. And so we just created a channel, a way to flow that information out. While in the meantime, we got to answer our own questions. Because there was questions I had about branding and making stuff that looks like this. And so, you know, I made friendships and networks with people that are really talented. That's the thing about expansion and growing your business. You know, you if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. And so me realizing that in my area of expertise is not necessarily in knowing all this stuff. My hands are really smart. My hands know how to make me really good money. And so it's being a good steward of that money from the harvest. I say it a lot, man, reap without apology. Because I might have 4 months a year where I don't do a whole lot of business, a whole lot of physical work. But those 4 to 6 months, I work my face off. Like right now, I've had 1 day off since the end of April. 1 day in 45 days, I've taken off. And I usually work from 8 to 12 hours a day. Because this is my time to harvest. This is when I honor the planting and the sowing and all the stuff that I've done over the years. And so that's how I honor. I put my face down and I work so that I can take a portion of that seed from the harvest and do other things. And so I appreciate, man, all the love and the shares and everything. So if you're gonna watch this on Facebook, and we also have a YouTube channel, and then Spotify. Catch us at Home of the Hustle on Spotify. And so that's just what I want to share out is like that stuff is not very hard to do. You can go to anchor.fm and start up a podcast in 5 minutes. Just don't overthink it. That is one of my gifts. Is if anybody knows me and everybody that is a family and friend of this channel for a while, they know one thing. They know I pull the fucking trigger. I don't sit around and think about it a whole long time. What I do is I get an idea, kind of like this. I ordered coffee from some friends, and I had a bag that looked like this, and I put a little sticker like this on this and posted it on Facebook, and people said, "Hey, is that Get Shit Done coffee? How do I buy it?" And I said, "Hold on a minute." And I took another picture of it, and I put it on my website and give them a way to buy it. And I could see that people were attracted to that. And so I said, you know what? Why don't I take a little bit of my energy, and I have some designers on contract. It's like a $400 a month subscription, and they'll design anything and everything I want. And I went and I took so like you can edit pictures, right? And I drew a line around the picture. I got this font off of an app on my phone, and I took some orange scribble in my editor and just scribbled. I said, hey, this is kind of what I want it to look like. And then I went and I let people that specialize in that are really good, go do that. And then I give them my feedback of what is in my head and what I want. And so that's literally how this happened. And the people that supply me with the beans and stuff, I mean, they love it. They love the hustle. They have their own coffee company. And they're just more than happy to see us doing this. So that's one of the major takeaways that I think everybody will learn from this channel is don't overthink it. Sometimes you just have to go and crash. You just have to go and screw stuff up. And I posted the other day on my social, like sometimes, when you get knocked down, it's just like if you're playing with Legos or a model, you lose a piece. Sometimes you find the missing piece on the floor when you're down. So sometimes instead of just popping back up, just stay down for a minute. So what the fuck just happened? Why does this keep happening? Everywhere I go, there I am. So that's your last nugget. I got to get running. So I just wanted to drop a message in here today. I know I've skipped a day or two of why we're here, why we do this. I'll be going out, and if you have somebody that you want interviewed, if you are looking for information in some area, then tag them in the comments. Tag whoever it is. I don't care. I'll do my best to go out and contact them, find them. If there's different informations, like if you're just starting a business, then just drop a just starting. If you're growing, if you what area of business, marketing, managing, what brings value to you, and so I'll try to take my experience and help lend that out, or I'll go find somebody else that does. It's really easy. people love to help and people love to share and people love to talk about themselves. So, man, thank you guys, man. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I appreciate everybody that shares this and subscribes to the podcast and everything and YouTube. Man, be great. Go out there and get shit done.